There are 6 stages of clay. First one is called slip. It's watered down clay that can be used as a pottery glue. The second one is called plastic. That's clay that you can easily mold and model. It's pretty soft. There's leather hard clay. That's clay that's somewhat dry, but it's really good for carving with tools. The fourth one is called bone dry, clay that's dry and ready to be fired. It's very fragile, and sometimes it's called greenware. The fifth one is bisqueware. That has been fired already. Clay that's been fired once in a kiln, and it can never turn back into wet clay. And sixth is glazeware. Clay that has been fired again with glaze. Hello boys and girls! Today we are going to be working on decorating circular shapes made from clay. They're rolled into a slab. That means they're the same width, which is 1/4 of an inch. Actually, this might be an 1/8 of an inch. I'm sorry, 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Perfect slabs. They've already dried out a little bit. All we need to do is use some tools and add some decorations. You could draw a big heart. You could use a marker or a pencil to place shapes within the clay. Here I'm adding some circles. I could lay this marker to the side and add some lines. I'm going to be giving you a variety of tools to work with. This is a rubber stamp. It looks like sand. Press it in. So simple. This is another rubber stamp that has wavy type of shapes, like spirals in it. It's hard to see in the clay. Of course, this clay will be fired. That means it'll be placed in a kiln, and it will change from dry piece of gray clay to a white piece of clay. I'm going to put one little hole in the top. I'm going to sure to turn it around and make sure it's pierced all the way through and break off the little extra pieces. This one, same. Okay, let's see. We may do a second step on this project. Alright, boys and girls, I'm going to teach you how to attach clay to other pieces of clay. I'm going to show you how you score clay. That means scratch a clay piece and a clay surface with a tool. So we're going to be scoring. You're going to learn how to use slip. You brush slip on with your finger or a little stick, or maybe even a little bitty Q-tip, and you just use a little bit on each piece. Slip is basically clay glue. It's dried up old clay and water. And you're going to press or compress. You're going to stick the clay piece onto the surface where you want to attach it, and you're going to press till it starts to stick. All right, let me show you how we're going to do this. So we're going to do these 2 circles a little differently. We're going to cut away from one to create a negative space. That's gone. Negative, it's gone. Then the positive will be the circle. Simple. Just press in, lift out, pop out. Oh, that's so cute. And you could keep both pieces, but this and this fit together perfectly, and you have a circle with design work in it, a hole to hang it up, and a negative space. You can stick your finger right through it. Now we're going to create one with a positive space of a circle. And it's going to go right here. So what you're going to need is another piece of scrap clay, and we're going to cut out a heart. I think I'd rather have this side. cut out the heart. Put the scrap back, pop it through. This will fit right here. You want to center it. I prefer you didn't put the hole on here. I can put the holes in here because I want to make sure they're not crooked or hang incorrectly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace around here so I know where the circle hits the heart overlaps on the circle, and I'm going to make little cuts. Everywhere that this heart will be sitting, we're going to have to add cuts called scoring. I'm scoring the clay. I'm creating these tiny little valleys for the slurry, which is basically clay glue, to sit inside. So I'm cutting, 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 cutting. There we go. And it should fit perfectly. There we go. And I cut a little bit off the edge, but I can clean that up. So this heart is going to be a positive shape that we're placing on the circle. Okay? Now, not only do I have to score this piece, I have to flip this heart over and score or scratch this side. Don't leave any space uncut. The slurry, or rather the clay glue, has to touch all of this in order for it to stick to the other piece. Okay, this is scored, this is scored. Now I'm going to pick up some of this gooey slurry, which is basically old clay in water, and I'm going to smear it on here just like I'm buttering a piece of bread. I don't want to have too much because it's going to make such a mess. I'm going to add a little in here. Make sure it gets in there. We don't want any holes that are left inside of this that can pop or break our clay in the kiln. So we're filling it nicely. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. And this piece has all the slurry on it. Maybe too much. I might pull some off. This is going to squish out. I don't want to make too much of a mess. Now I'm going to line it up exactly where it belongs, and I'm going to press, 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 and make sure those two pieces are sticking together. Oh, you can see it's squirting out the edge just like a big old peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which is fine. You want it to press all the way through. And now I don't want all that there. That's going to make for a messy looking piece of art. But I do want to squish so it's really adhered, really adhered. Just don't squish so much that you bend your clay up. And then you take a pencil or a piece of paper towel and you start pulling it off. You can use your finger to pull it off too. Here we go. All the way around. Oh, that's a nice seam. That's a really nice connection. And it goes around and around and around. It's harder to get in these little tight spots here, but I'm going to pick up a little of this slurry and press it in here. I don't want any gaps. I don't want anything that could break my artwork in the kiln. And voila. I've got my negative shaped heart, it's missing, and my positive shaped heart, both on circles. This one is adhered with slurry. I have slabs of clay. These will all go into the kiln when they're dry. They'll be fired at thousands of degrees, and we'll be ready to paint them or glaze them and hang them up. And they will turn from soft to hard. Thank you, boys and girls. Enjoy.